Incredible.
Can you say science is awesome?
Science is awesome.
There we go. Look at that.
Oh, that was cool. That was
Pretty
so
amazing,
cool.
right? Yeah.
That was really
like
cool.
Put your hand on there. And look at this.
The best in the world at making tablecloths disappear.
3, 2, 1. There we go.
Why is that doing that?
We have electrons and batteries that are flowing in a path without any interruptions.
Through
We've
us?
turned you into the, let go of Kathy Lee there. Let's see what happens. Open circuit. Touch your nose.
Oh, touch her.
Touch your nose if it works. As we have our ghost. Flying. Pretty cool. Awesome. Whoa. Starting to go at once, as you can see.
Sounds like New Year's Eve.
I'm going to pop a balloon with an orange. The sharpest object I know. Whoa. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, now we're going to mix these ingredients together. And there's the ghost right there. Now the Today Show set is Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh,
look,
kids
wait,
would
look.
love
Here,
this.
you do it, Kel.
Yes.
Here, get in
Oh my
there.
God, my kids are obsessed with this.
We have a bubbles
Yes.
made.
Good evening, Plano Elementary School. It is so great to be with you all this evening. Man, I'm excited for this awesome night we're going to have together. A few things first. I am in the chat on YouTube. I am putting a sign-in sheet for you to sign in. We would love to know who all has participated with us. And so if you would click on that link and just fill out your name so we know who is watching with us. We're so thankful you guys are here. Looks like we've got 64 people watching right now. So we're gonna get started here. We are gonna at the end of this presentation, when we have time, we're gonna take some questions from the Google or the YouTube chat. So make sure you save those questions for the end, because that's when we'll be looking at those. But let's go ahead and introduce our guest. This is Jason Lindsey. Here he is with us, and he's got his entire kit there with him. Mr. Lindsey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I hope everyone is safe and well as we continue to battle a vicious virus. As a team, we'll eventually conquer it, and I think we're a little bit closer to that. How are the kids doing? Are they adapting? Is it true? Do second graders still smell like cheese?
Not all of them. Not all of
okay.
them. Yeah.
Or
So,
is it,
but not here at Plano. They don't here at Plano.
just the principal smells like cheese, right?
Okay, we're not going to talk about that. We said before we wouldn't mention that. So, okay.
Okay. All joking aside, I have several experiments to do with the kids. There's a big holiday coming up. I think it's Easter, right? Easter's around the corner. No, Halloween. Okay. Silly scientist. It is Christmas, and it's just less than 2 weeks away, if I'm counting correctly in my head. We are going to show you how Santa gets down the chimney. Santa and I talked. He says he uses a little magic and science. We are going to create a holiday fireball. I'm going to make it snow here in my studio. Where am I located at? Well, you're in Bowling Green, Kentucky. You're close to it there in Warren County. I am in the far western part of the state right now in a town called Paducah, still in Kentucky. I was born and raised in a city called Bowling Green. You may be familiar with it, not too far from you. I didn't go to Plano, though. I hear that's the coolest school. I did go to Richardsville, Warren Elementary, Elsie Curry, T.C. Cherry. I was one of those kids that traveled a lot from school to school. Either way it goes, we know it's not cold enough there in Bowling Green, and it's not cold enough right now in Paducah to create snow, but I'm going to make it snow right here in the science lab. You have ingredients that your teacher, principal have provided for you for two experiments we're going to do together. One of them includes a straw worm, meaning you need your straw with the wrapper on it. We're going to prove that there's a worm in your straw. And you're going to also, and you can get this a little later, I'll give you some time, but you're going to have to take your bag, your Ziploc bag, and add water about a quarter of the way. So if I were to break this bag into 4 equal pieces, only one of the pieces gets water in it. And then 3 pencils. We'll get to those in a few minutes. What I wanted to start with you first is an experiment that you don't have. And that experiment is ingredients to show you how Santa gets down the chimney. You and I both know Santa has to be at a lot of places, a lot of time. He has to be quick. He does use science. What I have here is an old milk bottle. Now, before I do get started, I need to remind you, don't eat or drink your science experiment. Have an adult around at all times and wear the appropriate safety gear. Okay, it's very important. I also have to remind you as we continue to battle COVID-19, your mask is important. Make sure it's covering your nose and your mouth. You're washing your hands often with warm soapy water, saying the happy birthday song twice. Keep your distance between people and no more licking the doorknobs. Got it? That's a thing of the past. Bottom line, I want to make sure you and your family are safe and well. And those are just a few tips we've heard since March. Okay, to the experiment now. I have a bottle. It's an old milk bottle, meaning that a long time ago, they would put these on the front steps of homes. They would be filled full of milk each morning. There may be 6, there may be 4, whatever you ordered. But I'm using it because I'm going to put Santa on top. This is going to represent the chimney. You don't have to have a milk bottle, but the diameter, that part right there, has to be smaller than the egg. Got it? And you set the egg on there vertically, not horizontally. More on the egg in just a minute. But this is the chimney. I'm going to ignite some matches and create a fire on the inside. Again, don't do science experiments like this unless there's an adult around. And then I have Santa in here. He's an egg. I'm not saying Santa smells like eggs. That's 5th grade boys, right? Joking, 5th grade boys. But you get the point. It's an egg. It's not a hard egg, meaning that it has been boiled. We've turned it into a hard-boiled egg. A hard egg meaning, it's cooked. It's not raw. So we have a hard-boiled egg right here. So in order to do this, we have to learn a little bit, I guess, about matter. And 2nd graders and 5th graders have mastered matter. They know that matter is anything that takes up space and has mass. They know that matter can exist in 3 main states. I know there's 5, but we'll stick with 3 main ones. Solid, the egg's a solid. Liquid, I have some water in this cup here. That water which will help me create less friction with Santa. I'm going to dip Santa into the water. That's going to reduce the friction as it slides down into the chimney or the bottle. I'm going to set this back in here. So that's a liquid. And then everybody breathe in deep. You're breathing in a gas. A combination of gases, the most important one being oxygen, of course. So solid, liquid, gas. Repeat after me. 3, 2, 1. Solid, liquid, gas. Your turn. Solid, liquid, gas. Your turn. You got it. The other 2, just to bring them to your attention, Bose-Einstein condensate and plasma. You don't encounter those unless you're in a science lab. The other 3 you encounter each and every day. Okay. So my container here has some oxygen in. That's going to help me create the fire when I throw it in here. And then I'm going to quickly put Santa on top. And you're going to notice how when the fire goes out, something neat happens to Santa. And then I'll tell you the science secret behind how Santa gets out of the chimney afterwards. Okay, so let's create the fire and put Santa on top. I'll do it quickly and get it closer to the camera so you can see it. Okay, so matches, I'm playing with fire. There's things adults can do that kids can't, and there's things kids can do that adults can't. I mean, you can watch cartoons all day long if you wanted to. Probably wouldn't be healthy to do it 24/7, but I can't. I got to go to work. I got to do things. I can drive. You can't. So there are certain things that adults can do, certain things that kids could do. This is something only an adult can do. Okay, so I'm going to create my fire inside of my old milk jug. Drop it in there. Now I'm going to set Santa on top. And you watch. That's how Santa gets down the chimney. Did you see that? So the fire went out. The oxygen was burned up. What happened next is the air cools. That creates a low pressure. High pressure on the outside pushes the egg in. So let's see, weather. You talk about weather in kindergarten and 3rd grade. So weather is what's happening at a specific time in a specific place. By the way, I am a scientist. What kind of scientist am I? I'm a meteorologist. So a meteorologist attempts, because I don't always get it right, I'm a human, but attempts to predict the weather. My very first TV weather job was in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. My second one was at a town called Bowling Green at a station you may be familiar with, WBKO. I left TV back in 2007 to start this business, Hooked on Science, that for the first time was went all virtual in March. But finally getting back into some schools in Tennessee and Ohio, and I'm still traveling just a little bit, but safely. That's key. That's very important. And eventually we'll get back to normal. Well, a new normal, but closer to what we used to have before this. So now I just freelance. What does that mean? I visit a station and then leave. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for things to get back to normal, I'm a meteorologist in Lexington, Kentucky, and Evansville, Indiana. So if you're ever in those towns, you might see me do the weather. How does Santa get out of the chimney? So we had the high pressure, which is strong, big muscles bring sunshine, that pushed him in, low pressure, weak, in the bottle. How do I get him out? I like some of your hypotheses as you're yelling them at your computer there. But I have to blow into the bottle. All the reindeer blow into the chimney. Sometimes they blow too hard and Santa goes into a snowbank. But again, they have to help him out. He's safe. He's magical. He's scientific. Let's try this. Okay, I got to increase the air pressure on the inside. I'm representing the reindeer. This is Santa. This is the chimney. And there's Santa right out of the bottle. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, awesome science. That's how Santa gets in and out of your chimney. You're like, I don't have one. Neither do I. But Santa has a key to my door. And he doesn't even need the key to the door. He can get in anyway. Okay? That's the bottom line. But that's for those of you who have a chimney that might be wondering how Santa gets down. You know, if your ears pop at night and you wake up and it's cold, that means Santa's been there because the fire's out and the pressure changed in the house. That happens sometimes at my house, the old one that I had that had a chimney. Okay, let's move to one that I know you have the ingredients for, and it's still about matter. By the way, we describe matter by using our 5 senses. Sense of smell, typically not taste in science, but there's a sense of taste, sense of sight, sense of hearing, and sense of touch. So I might describe that egg by touching it. It's rubbery, probably because it's been in my car for a while and it's probably ready to be in the trash. We'll go ahead and throw it in the trash. There's a trash can there. What does it smell like? Again, don't taste it. It's probably poisonous since it's been in my car for so long. What's the smoke smell like? Things like that. That's how we describe matter. Okay, one that I know you have ingredients for, and I'm going to give you about 60 seconds to go retrieve them all. You need the 3 pencils and a Ziploc bag. That Ziploc bag needs some water in it. You see how much I have in mine. So the timer starts now. The time right now is 6:12. At about 6:13:14, we need to gather around with all of this stuff, okay? Gather around with all of this stuff. While we're waiting on that, I'll show you some cool stuff that I have here in the science room for those of you as you get back. Again, Ziploc bag with water in it and 3 pencils. They should be round pencils. They should be there in your bag of science. You may go now.
Hey, Mr. Lindsey. We've got some people in chat who are asking if this is pre-recorded. So are you live right now or are you recording?
I am live.
Okay.
See?
We're just checking that. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I'm live. I'm doing this live. That's why it's not perfect, right? Yes. Welcome to TV. That's how we do TV. We do it live. If we mess up, we just keep going. Okay, as some of you have grabbed those ingredients, and it is 6:13. Again, at 6:14, I told you we would get started again. Let me find some neat stuff that I have here in the science lab. Over here's a good thing. I have learned to get all of these animals into one spot and then freeze them. Okay, so what I have here is a bunch, I would just say insects, but you and I both know there's a spider in there and that's not an insect. But you'll notice how there's all kinds of different creatures in here. I did not call these to one spot and freeze them, but there's everything from beetles to spiders to, the list goes on. I'll try to get as close as I can without it being blurry. And this is kind of heavy too. We're talking about 25 pounds, 30 pounds here. And it's plastic, it's not glass, but it's a pretty cool display of all kinds of different insects and different creatures that might be crawling around here in my house, yours, and everywhere else, outside, and so on. Okay, let me put this back, and then I think we're going to get started with that experiment. By the way, while we are still talking and waiting for everybody to get everything, I am giving away 25 of these. They're called Ooze Labs. It could be instant snow. It could be magic sand. It could be hot ice crystals. You get what you get. You don't throw a fit, right? So there's 3 different types, but there'll be a total of 25. How am I giving these away? Are you listening? Make sure mom and dad's near the computer. Go get them really fast because they're going to have to do this. You can't do this, kids. So make sure mom and dad are by the computer in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you're just a parent and you're just joining us there at your computer, maybe you were cooking in the kitchen, maybe you were folding some clothes, whatever it might be, I'm giving away some science kits, 25 of them. Here's how you win them. You've got to go to Hooked on Science on Facebook, hooked like I hooked a fish, on the light switch goes on and off, Science on Facebook and Instagram. Twitter is HOS Mr. Science. Make sure you go like those pages and leave your pictures in your comments tonight, maybe of your kid watching, doing the science experiment, so on. I'll randomize everybody's name and say, give me 25 names, and then we'll get these to you. So 1 per winner, 25 total, so there could be 25 winners. Let's say you like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's 3 times you get your name in there. What if you don't have any of those? Go to hookedonscience.org, click on Contact Us, and send me an email, okay? So I'll repeat that again at the end. Just wanted to let you know so you could grab some pictures while your kid's about to do a science experiment. I think everybody has gathered around with those important ingredients. That is a bag of water from the toilet. Okay, joking, regular water. And 3 pencils, all very important for this experiment. Again, all about matter, liquid inside. This here is a solid, the bag is. Quick reminder, your teachers will probably reminded you of this. You are talking about water, you may have a computer in front of you. Be cautious. Do not destroy computers, iPads, school equipment, your equipment by doing a science experiment that might ruin it. So keep it away from all of the electronic devices, the phones, stuff like that. Everybody good with that? Okay, awesome. So inside of here, I have my water. Matter is made up of small pieces. The smallest unit of matter is an atom. You put together atoms and you get molecules. Smallest piece of matter, remember I said unit, but piece is a quark. So the smallest unit is an atom because an atom contains a proton, a neutron, electron, and a nucleus. You put them together, you get molecules. So H2O, which is water, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. Put those pieces together, you get a molecule of water, bunches of molecules of water. So this bag is made of small pieces is what I'm saying. And I'm hoping those small pieces are going to hold hands tight together and allow, oh, good gravy, allow me to do this, jab a pencil through it. Now, when you do this, when you do get back to school, do it above your principal's head. Got it? Hopefully you won't get wet. Put your pencil through. Notice it's not pouring out water. And the science is simple. The smaller pieces that are holding the bag together that we can't see with our naked eye is holding hands tight around the pencil, and it's not leaking out everywhere. So again, you've got these ingredients in front of you. You're trying it now. Keep in mind, if you have any questions at the very end, you can post those in the chat, and I will attempt to answer those at the very end. If I take it out, what do you think might happen? Now, I have some electronic devices over here, so I'm not going to do it right above it, but until I can discover where the water's going to go. And you'll notice the water's streaming out everywhere. A little bit in the floor, a little bit everywhere. I better move this electrical cord over here that's plugged in. And unplug that so we don't fry anything. Okay, so yeah, cool science experiment that you can try right there at home. Don't do it over the couch. You know, so many families have turned kitchens and living rooms and houses into science labs, or they were forced to because the kids are doing science at home right now, right? So here's some important tips, parents, when it comes to doing science at home, because I don't think it's over with yet. We may get closer to it being over with by the end of spring and especially by the fall of 2021. But I think you may be seeing your kids do some work from home over the months to come still. Keep it simple when doing science. Don't do anything elaborate, okay? Just keep it simple. Number 2, use ingredients from around the house. And that's what we're doing today, some ingredients from around the house. And number 3, don't do it for your kid. Let your kid do it. That's the purpose of science. Sometimes they're not going to do it perfect. And if you see them doing it, not correctly, let them do it not correctly. Because the best way your kid's going to learn is by making mistakes, as long as they're not going to hurt themselves. But yeah, it's okay every once in a while to have a big mess in your living room, in your kitchen with science. And I know there's some parents just saying, no, never, never. But that's the best way for your kid to learn. Some of the messiest classrooms when it comes to science teachers, typically they have the higher science scores because they like to make messes. They like to teach kids the way that kids like to learn, and that is to get their hands dirty and to do the science themselves. So don't do it for them. Let your kid do it on their own. Let them make their own mistakes. Speaking of that, help them understand that science doesn't always work the first time, the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time. You got to make sure you got to keep trying and keep trying. Okay, let's move to the next one. What do I want to do next? How about a snowstorm? I'd mentioned weather is what's happening at a specific time in a specific place. In Paducah today, we had highs in the 60s. Was it that warm there in Bowling Green? It was warm out there today?
It was a great day today.
Plenty of sunshine, very warm. That's going to continue. Then a cold front's going to move through this weekend, and it's going to change things early next week. You know, I would say maybe a snow day, but you're virtual. It doesn't matter now, does it? No, joking. But the point is, we're not cold enough to get snow, not even outside. Inside of here, I'll get a little closer. You'll notice I have a powder. That powder is something you buy at a local craft store. There's all kinds in your town, okay? Bottom line, it slurps up a lot of water, and it's called instant snow. Instant snow. Speaking of that, I thought that I had something I wanted to show you. Oh, here it is. So there's this company out of Ohio. I was up there not too long ago, and I did a science show at a mall up there. We did some science safely. We couldn't have so many people. You had to stay a certain distance away from each other, but science must go on just safely. That's very important. So while I was there, I ran into a company that actually will put you inside of a snow globe, like a look-alike picture of you. So you stand into this rig thing that has lights all around and cameras, and they do a 360 shot of you, and then they 3D print you. And then this is what mine ended up looking like. I'm in a snow globe. Can you see me there? I don't know if it's blurry or not. But yeah, they put you inside of a snow globe. Pretty cool, right? So a lot of people who, football pictures, cheerleaders, they'll go in and do that. It's pretty neat. But I thought it was cool that they could put you inside of a snow globe. Any of you inside of a snow globe? You know, it's sometimes unique when snow is falling outside and it's giant flakes and it makes it look like you're inside of a snow globe. Back to my snow over here. Okay, lots of little sponges inside of my glass here. Those sponges, if you will slurp up about 100 times their weight in water. 100 times their weight in water. So when I take my water right here and I pour it all inside of here, you're going to notice something. Okay, give it a few seconds, and I now have a snowstorm in the living room, in the science room, in the kitchen, wherever you want it to be. I will tell you this, you got to be careful because while it won't pack together, there's such thing as a dry snow and a wet snow. The wet snow is what you want at a certain temperature to pack a good, strong snowball. This one, you can't do snowballs, but I will tell you if it gets on the floor, you will slide around everywhere because it reduces the friction. The friction is the resistance between two objects. My wife kind of learned this the hard way when she slid under the table when we were playing with this in the kitchen. So be safe, okay? Just be safe. But you'll notice the snow right there, lots of it. You can make it snow in your living room, and it doesn't have to be 32 degrees Fahrenheit. The magic number, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, if you want to know about Celsius, that is 0 degrees Celsius, to where a liquid will go from a liquid to a solid, a liquid to a solid. Okay, let's do another one, but one that you can do. This one that I want to do that you can do has to do with proving that there is a worm in your straw. A worm in your straw. Yeah. So I need you to grab your straw with a wrapper. It's got to have the wrapper on it. Okay? Straw with wrapper. I'll give you about 60 seconds to do that. Go ahead and grab it. Your straw with your wrapper. While we're waiting on that, what else do I want to show you that I have in here? Oh, I got to show you this. So I went to a college. It's the best college in the entire state of Kentucky. It's called WKU, right? It's where I studied weather. If you are going to study weather like I did and you want to stay in state, the best college to do that, the only college that will offer you that degree is Western Kentucky University, not UK. You know, I hear they have a really bad basketball team. Not University of Louisville, so on. But you get the point. Western Kentucky University offers a really good degree in weather. Okay, I'm trying to find something over here, and I'm attached to my computer. Let me take my microphone off really fast, and then I will get this. I have a real dinosaur egg. That's what I want to show you, is the real dinosaur egg. And this dinosaur egg is an oviraptor egg, and it comes from the continent in a different part of the world over in the China area. So let me grab that egg for you. I do want to show it to you.
And while we're waiting on Mr. Lindsey to return, remember you can put your questions in the chat, and we will get to those at the end. But be thinking about your questions that you'd like to ask, and we'll get those in at the end.
Okay, I think I'm back now. So this egg, at one time a dinosaur hatched out of it. It's wrapped up in a cloth so that I don't break it so much so. And then I'm going to unwrap it here. So at one time, a baby oviraptor came from this egg. This was discovered in China. You'll notice there was another egg right here. Okay. So yeah, they were kind of, this is probably about 4 to 6 inches. So you would think dinosaur, gigantic egg. No, they started out small and then they grew. But again, an oviraptor was about the height of me, about 6 feet. Would stand on 2 legs. Bird-like creature, very powerful beak that would sometimes crack open the eggs of other dinosaurs and eat them. Yummy, right? But you see it right there. There's the shell. That's the black part that you see on here. And that is a real dinosaur egg. At one time, an egg dinosaur came out. So it's all about weathering, erosion, deposition, another 4th grade concept. So what happened was there was a fast change on Earth, and something covered this egg up and basically turned it into a rock, if you will, or fossil. But there's a rock attached to it as well. So what happens is there's weathering, rain, snow, cracks rocks open, allows them to break open. Weathering, erosion, you move those pieces from one spot to the next. And then when they land in a new spot, that's called deposition. So that's how we kind of reveal this kind of stuff here on Earth that was covered up in a rapid change many, many, many years ago, is the surface starts to erode away. And then what's revealed are the bones of dinosaurs, or for that matter, this egg like this. Okay, I just wanted to show that to you. Everybody should have your straw. And what I want you to do to your straw is I slip on my snow in the floor, as I told you it was very slippery, is I want you to squash it, but don't do it yet because there's a special way that I want you to do this. I'm trying to find something with a dark surface so that I can really show it to you. Found it right here. Have a book. It's dark. What I want you to do with your straw is you're going to hold it like this, and you're going to take the wrapper and push it all the way down to the bottom. So I need you to get to this point, okay? Get to that point. You see the wrapper at the very bottom. So I'll let you quickly get there. I'll give you about 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. We'll see what happens. So I've showed you a dinosaur egg. I've showed you all kinds of insects. And, oh, I can't show you that. That's a real dinosaur in my closet over there. Stay there. Be quiet. Shh, don't tell anybody.
We do have one question. Bryce Beal was asking, what kind of powder did you use to make the snow?
It's called instant snow powder. So if you go to your local craft store, Hobby Lobby, is it Michael's? Michael's, anyway, those craft stores, and your teacher store. I know there's a teacher store there in Bowling Green too. Just look for instant snow, like an instant, like in an instant. immediately is what it means. So Instant Snow is the name of it. That's the brand name. You can also look for that online. Not you kids, but your parents can, because you can't get online. Okay, everybody there to where you have your straw wrapper. What I want you to do next is, once you've got it at the very end, I want you to remove it from the straw and place it on a flat surface like that. You're still going to need this. Place it on a flat surface. Then you're going to need a glass of water. Okay, and I'm going to walk over here to get my water out of the sink. So you're going to need some water. That's very important that you grab your water. Make sure I don't pull over anything. And I've got my water. The next thing you're going to do now, this is kind of crucial. Those fine motor skills, parents, are very important. That's why I tell you, don't do it for your kid. Let them figure it out. At the Lindsey house, if you couldn't tie your shoes by the time you were 5, you're going to go barefooted. So you either learn how to tie them or you went barefooted. And guess what the Lindsey kids quickly learn how to do? Tie their shoes. So same thing, candy bar, whatever it might be. Don't open it. Let them do it. They need to develop those fine motor skills. So you're going to take and put your straw in the cup of water. Then you're going to capture the water by putting your finger at the very end and lift it out. See how the water falls out? Dip it in, finger at the end, lift up. Now I've got my water in my straw. Watch, you don't do it just yet. Let the camera focus for a few seconds. I'm going to drop this on there and you will notice my straw, there is a worm. It's coming alive. You try it, pretty cool. Think about why it's doing it, how it's doing it, and so on. That's a neat experiment to prove that there's a worm in your straw. Now, I purposely picked that one because you can really do science anywhere. You don't just have to be in a science lab somewhere. You can do science at the kitchen table, at the lunch table, the breakfast table, so on. That's one of those to where you can intrigue your friends. And the reason why that's working is simple. Basically, the paper absorbs, just like the tiny pieces of snow absorbed, sucked it up. We have a special name for that. There's hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Phobic means scared of, so hydro is water. Hydrophobic would mean it's scared of. Well, we know it's not scared of that. Neither one of these were. It loved it. So the opposite of up is down. The opposite of on is off. The opposite of hydrophobic is hydrophilic. So basically, that straw wrapper and those tiny pieces of instant snow are hydrophilic. They love water. They will absorb it. And when they do, your straw wrapper expands. The snow expands. You could measure it before. 1 drop of water, measure it. 2 drops of water, measure it. 3 drops of water, measure it. So while we're just having fun now, you could really turn that into a bigger experiment to where you could collect some data or information and come up with a conclusion by saying more water, bigger straw worm. Less water, bigger straw worm. Vice versa, whatever it might be. So we could really turn that into a big science experiment. But for now, we just wanted to do a quick little experiment with it to kind of show you what was going on. I hope you liked that one. That one was pretty fun. Let's move to holiday fireballs. This one you cannot do at home. Okay, it's very important. I'm not going to tell you what my special powder is in here. Okay, I guess I'll tell you. Promise you won't try this at home. The other day I was in Mammoth Cave and I encountered a Charizard. Anybody know what a Charizard is? Well, he was hibernating. Charizard has to go back to Pokemon, right? Charizard will spit fireballs out, right? From their tail and their mouth. So this Charizard was drooling while it was hibernating. So I scooped up a bunch of its drool and it allowed it to air dry and it gives you this powder. So this is Charizard powder. You believe me? Or is that a fairy tale? Sounds like one. Either way it goes, I'm not going to tell you what it is, okay? Because you can't do this at home. And this represents what happens if you don't water your Christmas tree. You got to water your Christmas tree. Very crucial. I can remember growing up in Warren County and living in Richardsville and going and cut down our own Christmas tree. It was a cedar tree. If you don't water it, it's going to die. It's going to turn brown and all those needles are going to fall off. The powder, Charizard dried slobber, represents the needles. Then I have an igniter over here. This represents The hot Christmas light bulb. The hot Christmas light bulb. So that hot Christmas light bulb, when encountered by the needles, creates something called combustion. Combustion happens in the engine of the car and so on. So there's 3 ingredients for fire. You need oxygen, fuel, and heat. So I have my fuel, or the Christmas tree needles. I have my heat right here, Christmas light, and then there's oxygen in the room. Watch what happens if you don't water your Christmas tree. Okay, I better scoot back my computer there. Got to be very aware. I'm going to move some of this Charizard slobber powder here, and then, do you see that? My eyebrows still there? Yeah, they are. Okay, good. One more time. This is an experiment you can't do at home, but one that I can do since I'm an adult. And you'll notice how your tree will go up in flames really quick if you don't keep watering it. You're like, I'll water it and it keeps disappearing. It's because your dog's drinking it. Or maybe your baby brother crawling on the floor. Who knows? Or your baby sister. Just make sure you're keeping lots of water. One more time. Again, combustion is happening. We have the powder, which is the fuel, the heat from the igniter, and oxygen in the room. The 3 coming together creates a fire triangle, and you get combustion. 3, 2, 1. And there it goes right there. I do have a fire extinguisher in the science room, just in case. So yeah, I make sure that we are safely doing everything. Okay, so far, we have proved that there is a worm in your straw. Okay, not really, but it looked like it. It was growing. We have pushed pencils through a plastic bag filled full of water above your parent's head. Okay, maybe not your parents' head. We have created instant snow. We've talked about how Santa gets down the chimney. We've created holiday fireballs, and we have one more science experiment. You want to do it? Are you sure? Everybody on the bottom, feet in the floor, hands in your lap, backs are straight, eyes are on me. Let's do the last one. Okay, so giant Christmas light over here. This Christmas light is plastic. I also have some back here on the science set that are all plugged in. Gigantic Christmas light bulb. I have enough power to ignite that. Do you believe me? What do you think? Yes? No? Possibly? So, how am I going to do it? Energy. Oh, that's a 4th grade concept. Energy is the ability to do work. You can't create it. You can't destroy it. The same amount of energy that was here yesterday is here today and will be here tomorrow. It is transformed from one type of energy to the next. So we are about to transform chemical energy inside of a battery to electrical energy. And my light bulb will light up. Now, let me show you a few things about my gigantic light bulb here. It's red. So we're describing it by its observable properties. Over here, I have a metal screw sticking out, and directly across the other side, I have another metal screw. I guess you could call this a Frankenstein light bulb, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch one side and touch the other, and I'm going to leave the light on for now, but in a minute I'm going to turn it off, and I want you to watch what happens on the inside. You see how I've engineered everything? I've attached wires to those screws, and then there is a giant light stick in there. And when I touch this side, there's that hand, and I touch this side, here's the other one, the electrons flow through me, I become a wire, and it lights up. Open circuit, doors open, close the door, close circuit. Light switch off, open circuit, light switch on, close circuit. And you'll notice how it's lighting up on the inside. Now, this is one that I created myself. This was just a Christmas decoration. I was like, hey, why don't we just turn this thing into something that kids can learn more about? Okay, let me turn off the lights here. There's a puddle of water, so I can't step in that and touch the electrical wire. Okay, while lights are off, let's turn off the other light too. The house lights is what we would call that. And the ones behind us, they can stay on. Okay, so touch this side, and there's the Christmas light lighting up. I guess I have the power, right? No, it's called science. So the electrons in the batteries on the inside are flowing through me and eventually creating a closed circuit. I'm a good conductor of electricity, meaning electricity flows easily through me. The opposite of a conductor is an insulator. Wires are covered in plastic because electricity doesn't flow easily through that rubber or plastic. Therefore, you don't get electrocuted unless there's a cut in the wire. So very important that you have that on there. Open circuit, closed circuit. Should I try my tongue? Oh, nope, not allowed to lick things. It's COVID season. Okay, there we go. See? Closed circuit, open circuit. Closed circuit, open circuit. closed circuit, giant Christmas tree lit up. Sorry, I was seeing the Christmas tree behind me. Giant light bulb lit up, just like that. Awesome. I really like that one. That one's pretty fun. It's always good when you're not in COVID season and like say 30 kids are holding hands. And when those 30 kids are holding hands, they can actually allow the electrons to flow through them. And you can, one kid touch this, another kid here, another kid here, here, all the way to around there. And once you all connect, the electrons flow through you and the bulb lights up. So you can have up to 30 kids light the thing up. I think you can have up to 100. I've just never used 100 at one time overall. But cool. Time right now is about 6:40. Do you all have any questions for me? But while you're thinking about questions, who, what, when, where, why, how, not stories, and I think your principal said you need to put those in your discussion. Is that what you were saying, sir?
Yes, put it in the chat.
Chat. There we go. In the chat. We'll get to those in a minute. I do want to refresh your memory for those of you who are just joining us maybe and you weren't here earlier, or maybe you just missed out and you forgot and you want me to remind you again on how you could win one of these. These are called Ooze Labs. This one here is hot ice crystals. This one here is magic sand. You put it in water and it never gets wet. That's right, sand that never gets wet. The best way to get sand off of you is to put baby powder on your feet, and that will quickly lift the sand off, by the way, or your hands. And this is instant snow. We just did that one. So there's a tube of instant snow right here. So I'm going to give away 25 of these. So that means 25 people can win. And how I'm doing that is you got to go to Hooked on Science on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you like it. Make sure that you are leaving a picture or a comment from tonight, and I will enter you into the drawing. If you don't have any of those social media networks, and if I didn't have a business, I wouldn't have them either, but I've got to have them, you can just go to hookedonscience.org and send me an email just by clicking on Contact Us, and I'll also enter you into the drawing as well. So that's how you win one of those, and I'll snail mail them to you because I'll randomize everybody's name and say, just give me 25 names. And then I'll say, hey, you're a winner. Where do I send this to? And you'll email me your address, and then I'll send it to you. Does that make sense? Cool. Any questions out there? Did they have any good questions?
Yeah, Aubrey has asked, this is a weather-related question. What's the coldest and warmest it has ever been in Bowling Green?
Coldest and warmest in Bowling Green. What I'm going to do while you are still here, I'm going to go to the National Weather Service page. And your National Weather Service page, Weather Service, ERVIC, Louisville. Bowling Green is covered under Louisville. And if I click on that page, and at the top right-hand side, it says Local Program Climate. Here we go. I'm finding it for you right now, Aubrey. Just give me a few seconds. Bowling Green. Let's see. Regional preliminary. We'll look at this month and see what this month was so far. So on this one, it says for this date, the coldest temperature was -7 on this date back in 1917. Anybody born at that time? Me? No. The warmest it's ever been on this date was 74, set back in 1971. So 74, while today was warm, we didn't break a record, 74. Today's official high in Bowling Green was 68. That was reached at 2:20, by the way. And the low last night was 32, reached at 5:43. The normal high for this time of the year is 49. The normal low is 30. So Aubrey got down to -7 in 1917, and we had a record high of 74 in 1971. That was for the date. Pretty cool, though. You can go check those out. Just look for the Louisville National Weather Service.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that information. Let's see. I think this is Ireland. She was asking what kind of dinosaur was in that egg. I think you mentioned it. Maybe they didn't catch it.
Oviraptor. An oviraptor. It was a bird-like creature that had feathers. It was about 6 feet tall. It would walk on its 2 legs, of course, and it would crack open other dinosaur eggs with its powerful beak and eat their babies. Not so nice, right? At all. And speaking of that, scientists believe, and this is what they're thinking, the modern day dinosaur is the bird, that it's changed over time. There's some scientists who don't believe that, and there's some who do. There's some scientists who believe that the dinosaurs went extinct because there was a giant volcano that spewed ash into the air and it blocked the sun for so many days. And you got to have sun for photosynthesis and plants and to live and to get oxygen. Another group of scientists said that it was not that it was an asteroid, a big giant space rock that hit the Earth and blocked the sun for many, many days. Another set of scientists tell me that it was a virus. Ironic, right? That was spread through a mosquito, and it would suck the blood from these different dinosaurs and spread this virus, and they all went extinct. And there's another set of scientists who say there was a giant flood that covered the entire Earth and made them all go extinct. Do we know? Do I have pictures because I was there? Somebody else had pictures or video? No. We just know they're not here today. And there's many reasons on why they may not be here on Earth. Pretty cool, though. Could you imagine sticking your head out the window and seeing a T-Rex? I'm kind of glad they're gone. How about you? Yeah.
All right, next Avery's asked, how many years have you been a scientist?
Since I was a little baby, pooping in my diaper, throwing my Cheerios off the high chair and picking my nose. Yeah. Okay, all joking aside, you're probably talking about formally, meaning since you had a degree, right? So I earned my degree from Western Kentucky University back in 2000. So what year is it? Is it 2021? Can't forget that year. So 21 years formally. Informally, I've been doing science since I was a baby. I mean, we do science experiments all the time. We throw balls downstairs as a baby. We throw a high chair off of our high chair. Wait a minute, we throw Cheerios off of our high chair. All kinds of fun science experiments. But with a degree since 2000, been doing all kinds of cool, fun science.
Well, as a follow-up to her question, obviously you go around and teach about science. What are some other careers that you can do if you want to be a scientist?
All kinds. You could be a forensic scientist and help solve crimes. You could be a biologist and help save turtles and other animals out there. A meteorologist like myself. You could be an archaeologist. Well, that goes into a different field, really not science, but you could go a paleontologist is the word I'm looking for. A paleontologist and study all kinds of different dinosaurs and other creatures. A geologist and study rocks. So a doctor. And here's another thing. You know, so many times, I know back when I was a kid, it was a big push. Everybody's got to go to college. It's okay to master a trade. It's okay to become a welder. It's okay to become a plumber. It's okay to become a mechanic. Those scientists, and you're like, scientists? They're not scientists. Actually, yeah. They recently did research, and the majority of the STEM careers that are out there are those people with trade jobs, not doctors, not other scientists that are actually in the science lab. The majority of what fuels America's STEM careers are those in trades, dental hygienists, so on. In the past, they didn't count that group, but now they are, and they're like, wow, they're playing a big part into the STEM world out there. And I will tell you that if you do master a trade, you might be able to make more money than a college degree student. You won't have as many loans to pay off. And you may make more money. I mean, bottom line, I met a welder not too long ago, and I consider that the science of welding, putting together metal, so on. Very hot way, but yeah, $150,000 a year, and he just graduated with a 2-year degree. He was a specialist. He was welding underwater, but still very unique. It's okay to master a trade. There's all kinds of scientist jobs out there. We call them STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it for our questions. So, Mr. Lindsey, we just really appreciate you joining us today. And I'm really thankful that we were able to do this virtually and that you were able to bring science into our students' homes. So that's just really cool. So thank you so much for being with us. And we hope you have a great holiday season.
Yes, you as well. Everyone keep safe and well. Don't forget those small rules that we've heard since March. I want to make sure everybody's safe and well. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and hopefully I will see you in the fall of 2021 in person. High five for science.
All right, we love to bring you back. Students, don't forget that tomorrow we will have a weekly wrap-up show at 1 o'clock, and we'll send you the link to that in your Google Classroom. Everybody have a great night.